welcome everybody. And for anyone else that's watching after the fact, we have Ray Drew here. So we're super excited to have him. So if you're in the SBA lending and M&A industry, then you know the name Ray Drew. Ray also goes by SBA Ray, as an innovator, pioneer, and a voice people trust. He's a 5-time top producing BDO and is the host of the #1 podcast in the SBA industry, which is called The Art of SBA Lending. Ray has dedicated his entire professional career to helping small business owners navigate the intricacies of SBA borrowing. His job, going a level deeper, his job is to structure a customized loan that meets the unique needs of the business and guide entrepreneurs through the borrowing process, which can be super complex to people that haven't seen it. But Ray really has an innate ability to kind of to bring that to life. He's got a passion for helping small business owners and aspiring entrepreneurs build their small business empire through these owner-occupied commercial real estate, business acquisitions, cash flowing, operating businesses, and partner buyouts. So, Ray, we're super excited to have you. And if you don't mind, just give a welcome to everyone here. And if you don't mind giving a little bit more of your background or expanding on what I just said, that would be great.
No, thank you so much. And I appreciate the introduction. And I'm happy to be here. I've been doing SBA lending for 12 years. It is my only skill in life. I started right out of college, and I've been helping entrepreneurs start, grow, and expand, and really more recently acquiring businesses to expand, which, that's kind of been where it's been at the last few years. I mean, there is a ton of businesses that are being sold, particularly these last few years, as we move toward this giant wave of baby boomers that are retiring. Something like 10,000 a day are retiring. So for the next decade, we're expecting what a lot of people are calling the silver tsunami, which is all these baby boomers that own businesses. They're looking to sell them. And that is going to be the largest transfer of wealth our country has ever seen. So I'm kind of out here spreading the word on how entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs could take advantage of the SBA loan program to facilitate their acquisitions of those businesses.
That's great. That's awesome. And with people that are trickling in here, I want to just encourage any questions that you have, just dump them in the comment section, and we will get around to them as they are relevant and kind of weaving into what Ray's talking about. So that's awesome. Ray, a lot of synergies with what we do, and then of course, like with what our community is interested in. So this is going to be great.
Yeah, I think it's fun. Ray, and thanks for that background here, especially around the coming wave of business acquisition. So I think like one place to start, we'll just start at the surface level here. Is, do you want to just give everyone here just an overview of the SBA 7A program that I know you guys specialize in, what it can be used for, what it can't be used for, limits, who qualifies, all that kind of nitty gritty, and then lastly maybe compare that to the other loan types that are out there.
Sure. The SBA 7A program. That's the flagship program of the SBA. So it's financing up to $5 million, and it can be used for a variety of reasons or uses. And the program essentially is a partnership between the public and private sectors. And it's sort of like an insurance program that the federal government, through the SBA, the Small Business Administration, provides to banks, credit unions, and licensed non-bank lenders. So there's about 1,500 institutions that have made at least one SBA 7A loan in the past fiscal year. And they are doing them for startup businesses, which is part of it, starting a business. But more so, 75% of these loans are actually for owner-occupied commercial real estate and change of ownership transactions. So buying a building for your existing business to occupy and run it out of. So think, if I'm a CPA firm, I'm buying an office. If I'm a manufacturer, I'm buying a warehouse. If I'm a restaurant, I'm buying a freestanding retail building maybe. And I'm going to run my business out of it. So now I'm going to own my building instead of paying the landlord. And so the SBA 7A allows you to go finance that type of purchase. Ultimately, the SBA guarantee is there to allow banks and credit unions and non-bank lenders like myself provide loans that they wouldn't have otherwise made conventionally because of a lack of collateral or time in business or a credit issue or many other reasons, and they would not have been able to provide the financing with these terms, which are longer amortizations, which means lower payments, which means better cash flow, and less equity requirements, which means you can preserve more of your capital and do things that you wouldn't have otherwise been able to do because of the lower equity requirements. And the ability to provide different aspects like working capital into the loan to make it more of like a one-stop shop for some of these things. So the SBA 7A loan is about $25 billion a year through this program. I think it's something about 50,000 different loans a year. Small business owners across the country are using it every day to do these things. So it's a great tool.
That's great. So let's like to back up to like the mechanics. So the someone wants to make or wants to get an SBA loans. Are they going to? They're going to. You said like any type of bank. Is there a certain type of bank that they should be going to? Then there's non-bank lenders like yourself. Can you like just kind of give us the universe of who they should be going to?
Yeah, I mean, when I started out as a 22-year-old with very little knowledge about SBA or life, I was fielding calls from people who were finding the company I worked for on the internet. And back then, I know it's only 12 years ago, but people were like very skeptical of finding a lender on the internet. They were used to going into their bank, but we were a little bit more forward thinking. And I used to clear up these myths that you heard every single day, like the SBA takes too long, it's too much paperwork, and people were trying to avoid it like the plague. In fact, banks were trying to avoid their customers, when they would bring it up, they say, you don't want to do that. Well, somewhere along the lines in the early 2000s, really starting in the 90s, but mostly in the early 2000s, certain lenders started specializing in SBA and ironing out a lot of the kinks. And then in recent years, I mean, people adore this program now. I mean, I haven't heard anything negative in a while. I do sometimes still. There's still horror stories, and those are usually due to the fact that the process is really complex. And if you don't do a lot of these as a bank or institution, you are going to get tripped up. So the bottom really 70% of the bottom 1,000 lenders that do onesies and twosies, you probably want to avoid because they're kind of figuring it out as they go. But then the folks like myself, we're currently the 31st most active 7A lender in the country. And if you're kind of in that top 100, you kind of are definitely specializing in it, and then 100% use those folks because, the process is going to be more predictable, still not a walk in the park, takes 60, 90 days, depending on what you're trying to do, but at least it won't be an absolute dumpster fire.
That's great. And can you explain to us, Ray? So, working for Fundex, you guys aren't like a traditional bank. Like how should people think about approaching a specialized group like yourselves that just specialize in SBA lending versus going to the regional or local bank, down the street from a relationship perspective? Like what are the primary differences between what you guys do and a local bank would do with a 7A loan?
Well, there's a lender for every deal. And I mean, for us, we specialize primarily in business acquisitions, which there's a lot of nuance that goes into that. And so the biggest thing is expertise. So now I mentioned any bank can make an SBA 7A loan, any credit union can make one, but there's only 14 non-bank licenses that were created back in the 80s, and they've changed hands over time. But those are the only folks that can be a non-bank lenders. You have to have one of these 14 licenses, and only about 9 are active, and we're one of them. And being a non-bank lender, obviously, it's a little bit different. First of all, we started the company 3.5 years ago, and we're a wholly owned subsidiary of a larger company that's $1 billion plus enterprise value. So that's kind of where we get our funding from. But as Fundex, we're about 45 employees, and we operate in our little bubble. And all we do is one thing, right? So it's just like anything. You go to a specialist where all they do is one thing, they're going to hopefully have more expertise and be able to provide a better experience. So we take the non-bank approach and just take it to a point where we can be a little bit more flexible than the banks and a lot faster, because speed and time is just really important when somebody's under contract to buy a business or a building.
Totally.